Procrastination is the act of delaying or postponing something. Studies show that up to 85 to 90% of students procrastinate for a variety of different reasons. In this video, I'll be sharing scientifically proven methods to stop your procrastination and transform your productivity. Hey everyone, if you are new here, my name is Hazal and I run this channel with my best friend Liddy, where we use it to document our lives to becoming doctors while sharing some student tips along the way. In today's video, I'll be sharing my tips on how to stop procrastinating and actually get some work done. My first tip would be to remove all distractions. Now, this might seem straightforward, however, it is often overlooked despite being really effective. We all know we should remove distractions when studying. It makes sense, right? But we never do. I am so guilty of this. Did you know the average iPhone user unlocks their phone about 80 times every single day? Now, let's just imagine that every time you unlock your phone, you use it for 5 minutes. This accumulates to a whopping average of 400 minutes spent on your phone, which is about 6 hours and 40 minutes. Now imagine how much more productive you could be if you used just some of this time to do your work and not be distracted rather than spending it on your phone. If you don't believe me and you don't think you spend that much time on your phone, go into your phone settings and check out your screen time. Here you can work out exactly how much time you spend procrastinating and how much your phone actually distracts you. Guys, it's 2023, new year, new us. Let's remove everything that distracts us when we are studying so that we can be more productive. Turn off your phone and put it in another room or give it to a family member. Unplug your TV, turn off your notifications on your laptop. Regardless of the methods you use, remove all your distractions as a first step to stop procrastinating and improve your productivity. Secondly, change your environment. Research has found that learning environments play a crucial role in student success. Several factors can impact learning ability, including light, seating, noise, and even color. Students who study in a positive learning environment have been found to be more motivated, engaged, and overall have a higher learning ability. On the other hand, students studying in poor learning environments, including those that are uncomfortable, full of distractions, and loud, will find it far more difficult to absorb information and stay engaged. I like to study in a library where I'm not distracted by my room or bed, and I'm also surrounded by other students studying, which motivates me more to study. I strongly recommend you try out studying in a library, even if it's just for a couple of hours, to see how beneficial it can be. I also like changing my location after a couple of hours. So let's say I study for 3 hours in the morning on the ground floor of the library. After lunch, I'll go and study for a few more hours on the first floor of the library. This slight difference in my location, seating, and table helps me feel more rejuvenated and motivated to tackle the rest of my to-do list rather than procrastinating. Step 3 is to have a clear action plan. Now, it's all fun and games to sit down and want to study, but if you don't actually know what you need to be studying, it's so much more likely that you'll be distracted and procrastinate. This is why it's vital to have a clear action plan to be productive. Having a clear action plan comes in 3 steps. Firstly, you need to know exactly what tasks you need to complete when studying. There's no use in saying you want to study on Monday evening. You need to be very clear with exactly what you need to study in this study session. This way, when it actually comes to studying, you don't waste time trying to figure out what to study. Instead, you can sit down and get started with your work right away. So when planning your week, write down in your planner or calendar exactly what topics you want to study each day. And don't just write cardiology, biology, or maths. You need to be very clear with exactly what you want to get done. Once again, by doing this, you eliminate any time for distractions or procrastination. Instead of saying you want to do biology on Monday and maths on Tuesday, be more clear and say you want to do modules 1 and 2 of biology on Monday and you want to do chapters 2 and 3 of maths on Tuesday. Secondly, write down roughly how long each task will take. This will ensure that you don't put too many tasks on your plate on one day and that your plan is realistic. For each task, write down roughly how long you think it will take to complete, and remember that it's better to overestimate than underestimate. So let's go back to our example. If you think completing modules 1 and 2 of biology will take you 2 hours to complete, Give yourself 3 hours for this task. This way, if you take longer than expected to complete this task, you still have time to do so without running out of time or going into the time of your other tasks. Alternatively, if you do finish early, you have more time for your other tasks, so it's a win-win situation. Finally, be smart by how you organize your tasks for the day. I like to put the hardest tasks of the day first on my to-do list and the easiest tasks of the day last on the to-do list. Planning your work for the day strategically means you're more likely to get your tasks done and less likely to procrastinate. This is because for most of us, we're more productive in the morning where we have more motivation and energy, so it's better to use this time to get through your hard tasks of the day. However, when it comes to the evening and you're more tired and more likely to get distracted, it's better to use this time to push through the easier tasks of the day. Of course, this all depends on what time of the day you best study during. Some people are morning birds whilst others are evening owls. Reflect on your own cardinal rhythm so that you avoid doing intense work during periods of the day where you're less likely to be productive. Tip number 4 is to split your workload. I'm sure many of you can relate to the fact that when you have a really big, daunting task, it can be really hard to get started with it. If you estimate that a task will take 5 hours to complete and you put it all onto one day, it's inevitable that you'll end up feeling overwhelmed by this big task and you'll most likely end up distracted and procrastinating. But if you split this big 5-hour task into 5 smaller 1-hour tasks that you can complete across 5 days, it seems a lot easier to complete. But of course, to be able to split your workload into smaller tasks across many days, you need to start working a long time before your deadline approaches. This is really hard because as students, we feel like we have a lot of time to complete a task until we don't. This is known as the student syndrome, where someone puts off completing a task until the very last minutes before the deadline, which can lead to worse performance and increased stress. By taking the advice in this video, you can do a little bit of each task often, a long time before the deadline, so that you aren't as stressed and you don't have to work so much right before the deadline. Tip number 5 is to have breaks and rewards. Of course, you can't study forever and taking breaks is super important. We all have different periods of times we can work for. For some people, they can work for 3 to 4 hour intervals. However, other people work best in 30-minute intervals. Whatever periods work best for you, try to slot in breaks in between these intervals where you can take some time away from your work and come back feeling more refreshed and rejuvenated. Research shows that taking a break can be very beneficial for your work. Micro breaks, lunchtime breaks, and longer breaks have all been shown to have a positive correlation with your well-being and productivity, and also boost your performance. Studies have shown that taking breaks can help reduce or prevent stress, help to maintain performance throughout the day, and reduce the need for a long recovery period at the end of the day. You can also switch up what you do during these breaks. For example, you can grab a snack, go for a short walk, or even go on your phone for a few minutes. Having breaks and rewards gives you something to look forward to so that you can push through a few more minutes of work before you can get your rewards. Although breaks are important, it is also important that you stick to the amount of time you have given yourself for that break, because a 5-minute break can turn into a 50-minute break very quickly if you are not careful. To ensure that you stick to the allocated time for your break, you can use a timer so that you don't lose track of time. Tip number 6 is to have discipline. Productivity relies a lot on discipline, and in many cases, procrastination is due to a lack of discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. And for a student, this can mean keeping yourself focused during assignments or a class, not getting yourself distracted during lectures or a time of study, and making sure that you're on track with all your deadlines. One of my favorite sayings is discipline works when motivation doesn't. This means having discipline to build habits to get stuff done when you are not motivated to do so. Now, this can be a little evil to yourself, but something that can help a lot with discipline is by remembering how it feels to not be prepared. For example, have you got an experience of feeling a lot of exam stress or not doing well in an exam due to lack of preparation? Remembering these times can help you keep disciplined because you really don't want to relive this. Ultimately, guys, you need to remember that it's short-term gratification versus long-term gratification. Sometimes we need to put aside our I'll want to scroll through TikTok for short-term gratification, for that long-term gratification that comes with completing your to-do lists and doing well in your studies. Now that you are done watching this video and you have all the tips you need, stop procrastinating and get back to your studies. And I'll see you all in a new video next time. Bye!